No, hát jön a világbajnoki döntő. Az, hogy Francisco Sanchez Ruiz bekerült, nekünk bal oldalon, hogyha én, a spanyol világelső, ez talán nem meglepetés. Az, hogy Mohammad Soufi a másik résztvevő, az, hát bocsánat, annyiban mindenképpen az, legalábbis ez elég szubjektív a dolog, de egy viszonylag ismeretlen játékosról van szó. Én próbáltam mindent fellelni róla, néhány Instagram poszt, néhány Facebook bejegyzés, és ugye néhány szakmai oldalon az eddigi eredmények. Tavaly kereste a legtöbb pénzt, 5 versenyen tudott rajthoz állni és érdemben eredményt elérni, de azt sem ért el a $7000, így aztán hát nem feltétlenül tartozott a VB előtt az esélyesek közé. A fogadóirodák nem tudom, hogy egyáltalán foglalkoztak-e vele, ha igen, és valaki megtette azt, hogy legalábbis eljött az elődöntőből, a döntőig, az egész biztos, hogy elég komoly summát jelent, aki ilyen bátor fogadó volt. Nem tudom, hogy van-e ilyen, meg egyáltalán szerepelte bármilyen fogadási oldalon Mohammad Soufi neve. De miután a tempót ő nyeri, ezért ővé a kezdés joga. Jó kezdés. Megy az 1-es, megy a 4-es, és van folytatás is. $60,000 győztes nyereménye, $30,000 döntő vesztesé, tehát már e tekintetben is óriásit lép előre a szír színekben versenyző Mohammad Soufi. Nem találkoztak még egymással egyébként semmilyen versenyen, így aztán ez most egy ilyen szempontból egy teljesen új helyzet. És nagy kérdés egyébként, hogy tulajdonképpen most már veszíteni valóban nem rendelkező Soufival szemben Ruiz, akinek viszont azért még hiányzik ugye a gyűjteményéből ez a cím, meg tudja nyerni. Vagy milyen nehéz helyzet elé állítják. Mondom, Soufinak ugye tavaly volt egy szlovén 17. helye a szlovén Openen, az $594 jelentett, aztán a European Openen ugyancsak 10. lett, az egy kicsit több pénzt hozott a konyhára, $2000. Volt egy 2619-as nyereménye a Predator German Openen, tehát német nyílt verseny, egy 5. hely, és Trevisoban is rajthoz állt, ott 33. lett, tehát ez nem... szépen megcsinálja, és övé az első reg, szépen le tolta a golyókat.
Of Latakia on the Mediterranean coastline, but when the Syrian civil war began, he realized he had to get out of there. He traveled to Lebanon, to Turkey, and then, how about this for a story? He was forced at gunpoint to pilot a boat of fellow refugees for 2 hours across the sea to a Greek island. He'd never done anything like that before. Old people were on the boat, so were youngsters. He was terrified. But he got there, and then, on the island, he had a 20-kilometre walk. 17 days later, after an arduous journey involving bus rides and walking again, he arrived in Germany, and that's where he's been based for the last 7 years. So potting pool balls isn't pressure. What he went through that night, that's pressure.
Leading 1-0.
Yeah, an incredible story and an incredible run so far, and knocked them balls in with a lot of authority and an interesting safety to me from Ruiz there, almost like Albin to start, meaning he was just trying to get the two to the back rail and said, let me just get this guy long, and maybe having to play a safety instead of, like, I think if he was playing someone else, maybe he tries to play that subtle safety behind the 8. So I think Ruiz will be reminded quickly, and he's no fool. He's just got to play his normal game.
Yeah, I wonder what he was asking the referee mid-rap. He was asking something.
Yeah, he's got a nice shot here to pull the cue ball 2 rails between the 6-8 up for the 9, up for the 3. He's just got to be a little careful with the speed. I don't think I banked this. Oh, he could cut it with a high ball. Really nice. The 4 to the 5 is not easy, though. He's going to have to fall kind of straight, Carl, to try and draw the cue ball.
Yeah, and if he lands short on it, he may have to play like a delayed draw in between the 9 and 6. He's got to get this one right.
Yeah, he just needs to not be too short. He can handle a little follow between the 6 and 9, but I think he's gotten perfect. Now he's got to decide, what do I want from the 5 to the 6? And the good thing is he decides it quickly. He's pretty amped up, a little much there, but the 6 isn't difficult. 6 is not tough. This is where he's got to rely on what he's been doing so well, and that's knocking balls in.
Yeah, it paid to be a lot shorter there, didn't it, than long. You know yourself, JJ, being involved in Mosconi Cup team. It's a different type of pool on this slick table, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the good thing for him is he doesn't involve a lot of side spin in his game. A little more of a stunner of the ball, drawing the ball, a little more power, and he's going to have to show something special here. I don't know if he can beat that top right corner pocket. Oh, well, he knew it.
Well, it's just a case of aim, pull the trigger, and the ball goes in the pocket.
Well, it's eerily similar to his counterpart in this match, meaning when they come down, they don't want to adjust. They don't want to think about it. They want to swing the cue. And how hard does he hit those into the side as well? Most guys would be like, let me open that pocket up with a little bit of a lighter speed.
He really is something else. In the last 32, he came through a hill. Same again in the last 16. He's nerveless almost. As for Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, well, he has been, over the last 12 months, the man in pool, even though he's not world champion. He's 1 match away still. Last year, he won the US Open, a massive event in Atlantic City that everyone craves. Jeremy Jones has won it. World Cup champion, partnering David Alcaide, representing Spain. That was a proud moment. And he also won the World 8-Ball Championship last year, so this would be a very notable double. But first, he's got to shake off Soufi.
Leading 2 racks to 0.
I think it was you and I that talked about it earlier. For any player to win, it's about putting a few together after a mistake from your opponent. And that's exactly what we've seen so far.
You can see he's worked on where to hold the cue. He's got this little routine pre-break.
What he's trying to do there is get some consistency.
Yeah, we may have gotten a small roll here. I don't know if the jump shot's on with the 3 and the 6. Maybe he can get at a piece of the 1. I think he can. He hasn't always made the 1 in the side, but he seemed to make balls, period, overall, that being Soufi. I think you'll see Ruiz make the 1 in the side quite often. If he has to curve this, I don't know. It's not terrible, though, because the 2's hanging, and you'll certainly take a jump shot on the 2 if need be. Good camera view there. He can get at it. Anytime, though, you have like a 6-7 near each other like that, pretty important to play pretty good shape, because you may not want to be going into the 7, and you certainly don't want a heavy angle going away from the 7 when shooting the 6. So still work to get there, but I think that's going to be the real decider here for Ruiz in game 3.
Extension code.
Yeah, you can see the top corners are cut off. A little funny getting on the sides. He's got to work the cue ball to get above the 3 with the 4 a little in the way coming around. So this is grabbing Ruiz's attention quickly. Is he going to draw out of this? No, he's going a high ball. He's going to catch the 3. So he's going to get a little awkward for the side, but not too bad.
Doesn't matter the length of race, you always want to get on the board nice and quickly.
No heroics there, trying to overdo the spin. It was all just a case of leaving yourself a pot.
Yeah, he won't go simple here, I don't think. I think he'll get into the cue ball to get a little closer to the 5. It's kind of imperative. I want to be shooting that from a long ways. Sweetly struck. And that's the stroke you need to really have on the slick table. That kind of drag draw where the draw doesn't quite come off the ball. I think since he hadn't got ideal, I'd probably still come above this 6 ball and not worry if I have to go into the 7. Well, he's going to play the other corner, so he had a little more angle than I thought.
Even that shot though, JJ, cue ball's finished lovely, hasn't it? You can easily overdo that or underdo it, and then you're starting to chase a funny pot. The fact the cue ball stop there was just perfect for Ruiz.
Yeah, was that a little bit, if I don't like it, I can play a pretty handy safety. I mean, you're not really thinking like that as a top player, but, you know, it's a little bit in the back of your mind.
That was class. World class, as you'd expect from the world number 1. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz taking full advantage of Mohammad Soufi's dry break.
Trailing 2 racks to
All
1.
tournaments put together before.
There you see the disappearing 1 ball. Here comes the 2 ball. He's going to have a shot in the side. As long as he's got some form of an angle, it means you'll have something to work with to try and get on the next ball, which is a red 3.
Yeah, when nerves are high, the side pockets are the funniest shots for these guys. I think it's just, I don't think he wants to elevate here and come behind the 3. It doesn't pass the 4 anyways, so I think he tries to shoot the gap between the 5-8. Could afford a little bump on the 5 as well.
Hardly seems relevant with these two, but there is a 30-second shot clock and one 30-second extension allowed per player per rack. But it will not be a hindrance to either that, not at all.
Yeah, you'll see Ruiz take a little time prior to getting down on the ball, not a ton, but what looks like a ton compared to Soufi. And then Ruiz pulls the trigger pretty quick overall.
Good example there where he didn't try and do anything silly with the cue ball, just leave yourself long, leave yourself a pot. This looks to be good.
And really good. So both players playing exceptional to start. And you just hope the only real things we see alarming anyways are maybe some dry breaks. We're going to have some misses, some ball in hands, you figure. It's a race to 13, but if we get anything like we have in here in the start, that's all you can ask for. Got a little thinner maybe than he wanted. I mean, it's not hard, but just make a little more of a decision with the cue ball. He's so good at that shot right there, the timing of it, not overdoing it.
Gets a lot out of the cue ball, doesn't he, from these big angles. He's able to just get that cue ball killed on the big angle. Doesn't really decelerate through the ball, so he ends up losing the cue ball or overpowering it.
Yeah, even though it was light, it seems like all the great players, they make a lot of similar swings. And Ruiz is off and running as well.
The old break and run out, which was such an integral part of his victory over Chang Junlin in the quarterfinals last night. Now it's FSR on a roll. He's certainly on a roll when it comes to the 9-ball rankings. Now this is before the tournament, so if he were to win here tonight, well, he would have a very substantial lead over Shane Van Boening. Now what about his opponent? Well, he's come from nowhere. If he were to win the championship, Mohammad Soufi would be all the way up to 6th place. Runner-up, he's going to be 13th guaranteed, and that means the top 14 are invited to the World Pool Masters in May, and so at the end of tonight, it's the cut-off point. He'll make his debut there. Another perk, and fully deserved.
That is fantastic news, Phil. Couldn't happen to a nicer
Rack
guy.
5.
As you said earlier, he's been through a lot of tough times.
To break 2 racks each.
And I think this is what the idea is, JJ. You do well in the matchroom events. Other events, it carries weight. It's all going to go off ranking. This is why the new rankings are important.
Yeah, it's all in your own hands, and you're kind of betting on yourself, and no better place to be. Oh, the one got a nice little snip there on the 6, and I don't think it was going otherwise. Not the best break off, like the balls just didn't open as well as normal. A few kisses in there. But yeah, just think of, you know, Soufi, he's concentrating now on everything, of course, but given a few months and some confidence, even more time to train, financially in a better situation, we may see an even better Mohammad Soufi here come May. And he's not going to take a chance here. He's going to play safe with the cue ball. Oh, he's let the 2 slide a little bit. So this is going to be a little upsetting, giving up the jump shot.
Yeah, he won't be happy with that. You obviously try and control the object ball as well as the cue ball. If the 2 ball stays around the top rail, sort of in behind the 6, that's what he was trying. Things are more difficult, so let's see what Soufi's about with the jump cue. This is the first time I've actually commentated on one of his matches.
Oh, unlucky you, but this is a type of shot early. You know, the 9 a little further away. He's got to be careful not to overhit this a little. Easy to do so, especially in the finals. Oh, wow. He got the line he wanted on the cue ball. Is he going to get... Yeah, I wasn't too worried about the speed. That's just a little unfortunate, but easy to actually overhit it and maybe, you know, chip the 2 and hop the cue ball off the table. But he hit it how he wanted. Got to be happy.
Yeah, he got the cue ball rolling forward quick, didn't he?
He's got a piece of this. Is he going to kiss this going by? He got by it, and he got to the 8. Pretty nifty little play, just to even keep him off the shot. And those, when you're catching a super thin piece of the ball, that's when speed control is, I feel anyways, the hardest. Now Ruiz has got a few little shots. He's such a straight shooter. He could edge this, but he would rather hit it full some kind of way and kind of move the 3, maybe bank the 3 and between the 5-7 kind of and kill the cue ball behind the 5-9. It's a little odd, huh, Carl?
Yeah, the cue ball just carried on rolling, didn't it, just to make things slightly different for Sanchez. It's amazing, just a few millimeters just changes the whole shot.
You know, if you felt like you could hit enough speed on it, the curve shot isn't that bad to bank the 3 up and drag the cue ball behind the 7. That's the shot I kind of felt like he was going to shoot.
I think he's left this, JJ. Well, maybe a jump shot.
Yeah. I think he's used his extension he has, so he's going to have to get on the move for him a little bit, which is kind of unheard of. Like this one here, the 6 is big, I think. Wow.
Mohammad Soufi with an absolute beauty. 2 out of 2 with a short stick.
Yeah, big shot here. I do think the pink plays. So one of the more difficult shots, especially for kind of a fast shooter having to roll the ball. I don't think I go too far with it.
Yeah, this is where technique is key. He hasn't got the greatest technique we've ever seen. Will it fall? No, it won't fall. It won't fall from the middle of the table.
When we see him power those 9 balls in, it tells you that's what he feels most comfortable with. So when he's rolling, he feels comparatively uncomfortable.
Yeah, and that's just a difficult shot for any player, and he didn't hit it poorly. It's just the type of shot and the type of angle, not much room for error, especially on that side of the pocket. And this was maybe overhit a little bit. No, I think he's okay.
Yeah, Mohammad will have known that ball has to go in the middle. You know, a lot of shots, you know, you can cheat and hit the rail and it'll still swallow the ball. From there, he knew he had to hit it in the centre. We was actually out just before this final, JJ, wasn't we? We had a cue and the ball's on the table and we were seeing from what point can we actually cheat the pocket, and we kind of knew that one wasn't one of the shots you could get away with. Is he a little straight?
Well, I think he got just enough to where it's a little angle. He can come inside the 8-ball 2 rails. Well, he's looking to maybe he got straighter than I think, to where he has to take a long shot on the 7. He's looking to see if I can draw on the straight line out beyond the 8 with a little low right spin. Watch him really turn the cue ball towards the 7 here. This is going to be a little, oh, the 8's going to help him.
He's riding a wave, he's Sanchez. They can go wrong. You can hit the 8 on the wrong side, but everything seems to be turning out pretty. He's hitting the ball on the right side, leaving himself a shot. But it was Mohammad who had the first chance. A little shy on the cue ball here. Got a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, the one thing for Ruiz is You know, he's obviously played a ton of great pool the last, you know, year and a half, but also he's had a few matches that were suspect. And when his opponent didn't want to take the match off, he went ahead and woke up, right, and came from nowhere. Saw that in the last round. Got to make a bit of a long one here.
It would be a surprise if you were to miss it, though. He jaws very little.
Yeah, he rarely rolls them. He likes to draw this ball a lot of times, even though there's some angle.
3 ways of playing this shot, JJ, isn't there? You can sort of go bottom rail, 2 rails, high ball, or the Sanchez way. Draws it off 1 rail. Wonderful start, Phil.
Yeah, lost the first 2, but then the sparkling Spaniard wins the next 3. He's hit the front. Will he be there to stay, I wonder? Sanchez Ruiz leading Mohammad Soufi 3-2. Well, it was some spectacular jumping from Soufi early on in the rack, but ultimately they didn't pay off.
Yeah, this one was a little unfortunate. This was a tougher jump shot. Obviously, the 3 ball was a little further away, but the cue ball was tough. He'll be disappointed he's missed that ball. He was clearly playing for a 5-9 combo. Here you can see, just watch where it hits the rail. I'm sure people at home watching 9 ball sometimes think, how's that ball gone in? But from that angle, it's never gonna drop. Cost him the rack.
Sanchez Ruiz to break, leading 3-2.
And although it's still early in the piece, you get the feeling this is a very big rack. The one thing you cannot afford to do is allow FSR to get on a sustained charge.
That's a better one, JJ, isn't it?
Yeah, and he repeats it so often. I just, as a spectator, not only watching the one, that's the one that, you know, we try to watch, but just watch how often the cue ball zigzags across in almost the same kind of alley each way. You know, it's pretty incredible. Almost like, probably like Shane, not as quite as much power, still impressive.
Yeah, he breaks good enough without a doubt. And if you're wondering what that template on the table was, if you're just tuning into pool for the very first time, which I'm sure you're not, that's to ensure all the balls are touching. It's what we call a magic rack. I'm sure if you're down your local pool room or your local pub and you get the triangle on, no more. We use what is called a magic rack. Very impressive little gadget that was invented.
It requires nifty removal by the referee, but Desislava Boshelova is well up to the task. I think there's every chance that she's going to officiate, well, here, a World 9-ball final, and later on, whether this year or in the near future, a World Snooker final.
Yeah, he's got a lot of ways to play this safety. He can kind of shave the 2, come underneath the 9. He can hit it thicker, come underneath the 8. He could bank it away and kind of stun draw over behind the 8-4 or 8-5, excuse me. He's going to shave it, so he wants to protect this if he doesn't get underneath the 9. That's the goal. Well, he did. He wanted to make sure he didn't leave a jump shot, I think.
Yeah, he's just sizing up his options. If he does play some sort of jump shot, he's not going to use that cue. He's just seeing what's available.
And I think he can make it.
Oh, there's a piece, is there?
Yeah, this is a tough one to judge, though. You know, you're jumping over a ball that's fairly near and to an edge of the 2. So believe it or not, easy to overcut this. Wow, 3 for 3 on the jumps.
Look at the cue ball action there. Obviously not as exaggerated as Sanchez before. Take a look at the cue ball, the way it hops up. Wow.
Yeah. Hopped on right into the equator on the cue ball, actually below it, right?
Now you might get away with clipping the rail here. Yes, from that angle you can.
Especially with a little speed. If you hit it light, it tends to bounce a little more off that first rail, right?
But the practice table, I was having a chat with Alex Pagulayan yesterday. He was hitting balls, killing a bit of time. And I was watching him, and some of the balls that was staying up, you know, because it's a lot drier, the cloth's had a lot of play. That ball there, in the practice room, would not probably go.
maybe even some of the outer tables as the event went on. The humidity a little bit more, and oof, nice little roll there. I'm not saying it was a really good roll, it just was far from an unfortunate one.
The pattern's been worked out now. It should be level terms.
And it was a tricky safety just because of the jump cue. I like him taking that little extra right there. I feel like he's even getting faster, to be fair. Which I'm not sure is a bad thing, but...
No, I think he feels like running the balls out is very easy and natural, so he's got to keep the same thing that he does in practice, in tournaments.
3-3, the final we anticipated is currently being delivered.
Lépés előnybe tud kerülni. Azért ez nem volt csúnya ugratás.
Mohammad, Soufi to break. 3 racks each.
Sanchez Ruiz egyébként, ugye, mint ezt mondottam, a világ ranglista éllovasa, és Mário Hé, aki eljutott az elődöntőig, és épp Ruiztól kapott ki 11-8-ra, úgy, hogy elég komoly előnye volt. 3-4 rekkes előnye is volt kétszer is az osztráknak a spanyolral szemben. Följött a második helyre, Eklund Kacsi a harmadik, Kazakis a negyedik. Csalódás. Ugye, szerintem Albin Oceannek is, vagy a címvédőnek, Shane van Beuningnek is. Joshua Filler a 13. pozícióban jelen pillanatban. Szépen csinálta, ugye, mint láthatják a kedves nézők, azért időben ugrott a történet. Fej-fej mellett haladtak, 2-0-ra ment. Soufi aztán utána 2-2, 3-2, 3-3. És akkor most megnézzük, hogy ugye az első harmad vége felé közeledvén majd esetleg lesz-e olyan játékos, hogy előnnyel tudja várni a folytatást. Ugye, mint ez látható, ezt nem mondtam, még 13 nyert rekket kell abszolválni a világbajnoki címhez. Ne. Tavaly megnyert egyébként, mármint Sanchez Ruiz ugye a US Open-t. 8-as világbajnok is volt az elmúlt esztendőben. Itt volt a moszkoni kupán is. 1991. december 29-én született. Szépen csinálta közben Soufi, és ezért beszélek Ruizról, mert tudom, hogy Soufi van az asztalnál, de őről nagyon kevés info formációban. Hát ezután valószínűleg majd lesz. Szép. Nagyon elkapta őt a lendület. (11-10-re verte a finn Immonent még az első mérkőzésén, aztán játszott a lengyel Batkovskival ugyancsak egy 11-10-et. Tehát nem lehet azt mondani, hogy azért ingyen adták volna neki ezeket a mérkőzéseket. Aztán egy 11-8 Albin Ocean ellen, 11-6 az elődöntőben, és most ugye a döntő. Az mindenképpen egy érdekes dolog, és talán valamennyire pszichológiai is, hogy így ismeretlenül eljutni a világbajnoki döntőig, az milyen érzéseket, illetve milyen lehetőségeket hoz elő, képességeket egy játékosból, és azért azt kell mondjam, hogy most a világ első az ellenfél, és egyáltalán nincs megilletődve, tehát ha különösebben az ember nem foglalkozna ezzel, és nem van, akkor nem gondolná azt így első látásra, hogy minimum nem rendelkezik olyan eredmény lajstrommal, mint mondjuk az aktuális ellenfél, a spanyol Sanchez Ruiz. De hát nem rendelkezik, és én őszintén nem találtam. Ajaj. De hát, mint az látható, ilyen hibák belecsúsznak.
Start the shot clock, please.
A 2010-es években egyébként, a 9-es világbajnokságot nézzük, akkor Albin Oceant mindenképp ki kell emelni, mert ő kétszer is elhódította 2010 és 2019. Nem, bocsánat, rosszul mondom, tehát a 2000, hát igen, mégis a 2010-es években, 2016-ban volt ő világbajnok, Shane van Beuningen 13-atra, és aztán 2021-ben is ővé lett a világbajnoki cím, Mohammad verte 13-9-re, majd bejutott a döntőbe az elmúlt esztendőben, tehát címet védhetett volna, de ott viszont Shane van Beuningen legyőzte 13-6-ra. A tekintetben Albin Ocean 4 világbajnoki döntőt játszott 2010 és 2022 között, ebből 2-t megnyert, 2-t pedig elveszített. Most is itt volt, a legjobb 8 közé bejutott, de pont Soufi volt az, aki őt búcsúztatott 11-8-al. Itt viszont most Sanchez Ruiz próbálkozik az egyenlítésért. Nem volt a legjobb megoldás.
Extension, please.
Hát... Ej! Nem lett volna akármi. Ez a krónikához hozzátartozik, hogy azért a rekeket nézve, ugye nekünk most bele kell férni egy műsoridőbe, ezért nyilvánvalóan a teljes mérkőzés ez nem fér bele, de eddig ez a leghosszabb. A 8. Most küszöbön az egyenlítés, Sanchez Ruiznál 4-4 lehet. És szépen ott is van, elmegy a 9-es is, egyenlít a spanyol, a világ első 4-4. Picit pihenünk, aztán rövidesen folytatjuk.
FSR trying to join a very illustrious group of 10 players who've won the World 9-Ball Championship and the US Open. Shane Van Boning has done it. Joshua Filler, Carlo Biardo. Also, the likes of Darren Appleton, Mika Immonen, Alex Pagulayan, Ralph Souquet, Earl Strickland, Johnny Archer, Efren Reyes. It's wonderful company to be in.
Rack 9. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz to break. 4 racks each.
Break's been a little hit and miss for both players. They've had success, they've had dry breaks. All in all, this is lining up to be fantastic finish to this world final.
Yeah, look at the cue ball again, just dragging. 2 balls near. So a great starter for Ruiz to try and grab back that lead.
That's the intention. Making the one in the side, staying at the table, hard to control the cue ball, and then it's a case of seeing what the table gives you. This time he has been blessed with a nice split of the pool balls.
Oh, it's light, huh? Yeah, he's feeling it right now. I mean, that's a pretty, you know, by a foot or so miss mark at least with such an open center of the table. Nothing he can't handle, but really getting on the 4 proper to get on the 5, really the hardest part of the rack. So this is where how you hit the pocket
Extension,
really
please.
determines the speed on the cue ball.
That's why we wanted Mohammad to shoot the thin snip, because you can cheat the rail in the previous rack when he missed the bank.
Yeah, not only that, he's a straight shooter. I mean, normally great 9-ball players are pretty darn good bankers, but we've seen on the open shot, Soufi just, you know, bury him time and time again. And I wonder if he kind of felt a two-way there with that bank in the last game. He kind of looked behind the 6-ball, but that speed, it's hard to do so. It's hard to really predict. Now, normally, if Ruiz is feeling good, he'll play the 2 rails and still gain the angle on the 7 that's proper. 1 rail's okay too, but he likes the 2 rail position. I think he uses 2 rails too, with just center stun, back and forth. Oh, he played it light. Little surprising, but he held it. Killed the cue ball nicely, not letting it get to that side rail.
The second break and run out of the match so far from Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. These are the match stats. Pod success rate actually a little lower than you might anticipate at 93%. It sounds impressive. At this level of pool, it's not quite where you'd expect. All kinds of incidents though, and the one thing that struck me, the jumping ability of Mohammad Soufi. 3 brilliant jumps so far, and what a weapon to have, that.
Yeah, like you said, brilliant. Nothing easy about any of them. They got better and better as well. The first one was difficult. The second one a little more difficult, especially with the cue ball movement. And we saw the trick shot on the jump on the 2.
Yeah, we could do with the stat where it says bank shots, because Soufi missed that bank, didn't he?
Yeah, Soufi does tend to take a mid-match timeout, which of course is perfectly permissible. FSR remaining in the arena, he's quite happy, having fallen behind twice at 2-0 and 4-3. On each occasion, he's come back to lead.
Yeah, besides, I think game 8, it was pretty quality from both guys so far.
So the life of FSR has just exploded with success over the last 18 months or so, and over the next 12 months he's got so much to play in and so much to potentially exploit, with wonderful tournaments coming up like the Premier League pool and the World Pool Masters in March and May respectively, where we will see Mohammad Soufi. Then it's the UK Open, World Cup of Pool in late June, European Open in Germany, Mohammad Soufi's adopted nation. That's in Fulda in August.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz to break, leading 5 racks to 4.
Jeremy, he'll want to nail this one.
Yeah, I was just thinking this is where he wants to get the break going and really kind of take the championship away from Soufi a little bit. Now, I think Soufi with opportunity, watch out 9-ball, with opportunity will respond. But Ruiz, for some reason, he gets on that run, like SVB you talked about. Funny with the 3 initials as well, but they seem to run some racks at the right times.
Yeah, Soufi wants to be a little bit careful in this match. As you say, things could start slipping away. Every little shot, you know, you just never know how many racks
You got to be aggressive and come up on the 3-8 here, huh, Carl? Take the jump away. It's a pretty big target.
A little shy, isn't it?
Yeah, we may see another special jump shot of some sort. Maybe rail first. The kick's not bad. To the bottom rail, kind of followed the path the two ball took. And it wouldn't shock me at all if he knocks this in. Now the key here is, don't lose accuracy. You don't want to hit it too soft or anything like that, but you just don't want to blast it. Don't worry about luck. Think about a medium firm at most. I like it. I like it.
Oh, what a shot from Soufi! 2-rail kick to stay at the table.
Man, just couldn't have scripted it any better with that kick shot, right?
Settle down, please.
Okay, he's going to have to keep coming with him. The cue ball's off the rail, so he can dig on the cue ball if he desires. I don't think he does anything with the 9. He doesn't have to dig on it much, so.
It was quite a high tariff shot, but he's been potting so dependably. When he misses one, it is a shock to the system, and he didn't get away with it. The pink 4-ball remains in the open.
Yeah, and he didn't look at shooting it up into the other corner. That would have made a bigger pocket. Obviously, we didn't really get a chance to see exactly what angle he had and where the 5 would go, but he plays that quick.
No, I agree. The upper right is where I anticipated him to go. Even if he had to take a bit more of a shot on the 5, that was an awkward shot on the 4.
And 4 has been Soufi's bogey ball. You might recall the 5th rack, when with the cue ball under the side cushion, he had to slowly roll the 4 and missed it.
Yeah, and he's played so well. Again, I don't look at that as far as like, nerves or anything like that. Maybe a little bit, but what you got to fear is, of course, what we saw when you do make mistakes. These great players really sit you down. That hasn't happened yet, and it's a very possible thing right here in the middle of the match.
Is that ominous? For the first time, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz has a 2-rack cushion. It is 6-4. All about the miss, really, gents.
Yeah, and 6 out of 7 for Ruiz. Was he trailing 3-0? No, excuse me, he caught the lead at 3-2. He was down 2-0.
Now this was something special on the 2-ball.
Yeah, very good. Hit it perfectly, and then made one heck of a shot on the 3. I was with Carl. I kind of like the upper right corner. Just your room for error is a little greater. Now, can't question him on his own decision because he's been knocking the balls in. It seems like now for several days, and he has. First, worried look I've seen, really.
Yeah, he knows he's had a couple of chances. He's missed the bank on the 5. He's missed that 4-ball. That's 2 racks gone. And it's 2 racks onto the side of the Spaniard. And he's dialing down with this break. Is he going to get a look at the 2? No, he isn't.
And the other thing is, what does Soufi do with his break if he gets some of those balls down? He's put some racks together in all these matches. So now he'll get back to the table. This is where FSR, as great as he is, rolling out to an awkward kick is about as good as he has, because he rolls out here, I don't think he gets it back. I think Soufi will take that. Or I think he should. And he rolled out plenty to where he can kind of spin into this kick shot. I mean, there are not a lot of places to roll out to regardless here, but I don't know if he rolls out against, you know, what he feels like a top player in this position, or maybe a very good tactical player in this position. He certainly wouldn't get it back if I was at the table. And this is a big surprise here, Carl. Thought Soufi would take this kick on. Kicking the 2 between the 6-9, not that difficult. And you could even roll it really to get up behind the 9 if you felt real comfortable about it and you know the shot, which Ruiz certainly does. I think it's going to be a kick and stick. It's got a little help with the 7 as well, just in case the cue ball gets away. Yeah, really hard to believe the pass that.
It was a kick, a stick, and look at this off the 6 ball. A flick, but it made no difference.
Yeah, he would have really fancied that shot. The shot was really in his favour. Is this match starting to just drift away? We said he's got to be careful. Sanchez will start to skip around the table.
Extension, please.
Yeah, and that's just experience he'll gain. We all have done it. Looked at a shot for one reason or another. We didn't like it, even though we probably should have taken it on. Okay, he's going to hope the 4 gets tied up some kind of way. It may.
Bow in hand.
It's better going there, isn't it, than where it was.
Start the clock, please.
Yeah, and I think the 3 was maybe a hair in the way of the 2-rail kick, so he had to take on a pretty tough one going 1 rail with the cue ball near the rail.
Extension code.
So he's going to come for a heavy angle on the 3 to try and come some 4 rails off the 3 for some kind of cut or bank on the pink 4. I like the plan. Go the right side rail, stay underneath the 3 a little bit, Carl.
Yeah, I agree, JJ.
He's looking now to get above it. That looks pretty dicey to me. I like his original plan. Coming over here, just kind of staying. Is he going to break this out?
No, he feels if he can get just over towards the side, just after the side, he can cut this ball in. So, I mean, that's okay.
No, if it's there, that's great. Just a little fooler to me. Speed's important, but can't win all these championships without great speed control, and he got the premium out of this. A little bit off the rail, even further down the rail, which is certainly going to make the 4 playable.
You expect a good speed from a man nicknamed El Ferrari.
See,
oh, but he's missed.
Yeah, well, just, I mean, I don't want to be a hindsight person, that's for sure, but it looked like it was not the easiest thing to get in there at the 4 from that side. He could have easily got underneath the 6-7, taken on a thin cut or a cross bank.
Yeah, the camera deceived us, really. It looked perfect. I mean, it probably was perfect, but maybe the shot itself wasn't easy. Soufi's got to be careful here.
Yeah, sometimes on those shots you kind of push the cue ball when you're FSR or a player like that instead of kind of swinging through, and the throw just doesn't work like you anticipate. You know, you don't really accelerate as much because you're worried about getting in there at a real subtle speed.
Soufi's a little shy, yeah. I know he's getting down quick, but he's okay.
Yeah, I don't really think it's been, you know, the misses are one thing. I think a few of the decisions have really maybe caused a couple of the misses. I don't get the feeling of dogging it from the kid. And we need to learn a better word, or 2 words, because dogging it always sounds so harsh.
Nothing harsh about that for Mohammad Soufi. Just when it looked as though Francisco Sanchez Ruiz was building a head of steam, momentum might be dissipated by that missed 4-ball. It is 6-5. Soufi back with momentum of his own. Maybe he was just a little spooked by the near proximity of that 6-ball, because he did undercut the 4. It was clearly a tight squeeze.
Yeah, if you saw that replay, Ruiz is someone that really carries the cue stick through the cue ball pretty much all shots, and some have different degrees of length through the cue ball than others, but cue stick kind of stopped at the cue ball there.
Yeah, so it's Sanchez who throws the rack away. Soufi's thrown a couple away. But all in all, it's been a good match so far. Good contest, no runaway leader. 6-5, Sanchez, Soufi to break.
And I think this is the part of the game that really has to be good for Soufi to take this title down. He's got to put a few racks together, because Ruiz is human, even though he's kind of seems like, oh wow, that's unfortunate.
Foul shot.
Even though he's kind of shown us otherwise
Ball in
over the
hand.
last 18 months or something like that.
Start the shot clock,
Scratch
please.
off a couple of balls. At least, though, the 8 and 5 have gone really close together, awkwardly.
Yeah, he's got ball in hand, though, and he's such a great player. I think he can fall a little underneath the 4. We'll get another look here in a moment to where he can swing the cue ball by the 7 to the bottom rail and open the 4-8. I think that's there, huh, Carl? Wow, look at this. Why wouldn't he just follow forward, follow underneath the 4, go to the left side rail, to the bottom rail, and then into the 5-8? Isn't that the play?
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. He's probably only just having a look, but he was just looking to play the 2 off the 9, I believe, to knock the 5 out.
Yeah.
Maybe on a Friday night exhibition.
Yeah. Like you said, some of those English 8-ball
Extension,
parties
please.
y'all have. Yeah, he's really a good thinker, which I think is a big credit. Good thinker under pressure. We've seen it many times. I think at times during the World Cup, he kind of made some big decisions for Team Spain on to that win, even with such the brain that Al-Kaidi has, and we know that's one of the best. Yeah, I like shooting the 2 in the upper right corner. Wow. Wow. But
He's
now,
really playing this off the edge of the 9.
from so far away, too. It's one thing to be close to it. Oh, he fluked that. Double kiss. The 9 might get in the way, though. 9-ball pool's the most amazing game on the planet, I'll tell you.
Well, you know, as a former player, I'm glad that has hooked him. I really am, because he's not hitting great. And look at the flick. I mean, to win the rack off that would have been disgraceful.
Yeah, and, you know, I don't want to call it bad, but that's a little below his level. You know, a little amateur, right? A little bit.
Look at the selective thinking, though. He wasn't thinking about the fluke. He was thinking about the fact he's been hooked.
Yeah, he's very good at kicking at that ball and bringing the cue ball backwards subtly. But those kind of things, you almost motivate Soufi to do something special. Like that, to me, definitely a sign of nerves.
The thing is with Sanchez, you know, maybe he's just absolutely flying inside. So maybe he just feels so good, so he just sees a shot and he thinks, well, it's not that difficult. I know what you mean. It doesn't look to be the right shot, but maybe he's just on that vibe of everything's just easy.
Well, if the 2 is half the distance away from the 9, I can almost, you know, live with it myself. But that 2 ball was by the head string. And that shot that Soufi just shot is the most commonly underhit safety there is. You're always worried about him coming up, and it's really the underhit that always gets you. He's got to go with the long rail kick here. He's got a lot of positive things that can happen.
You won it. No extension.
Sanchez has been very good at that type of shot. I know there was no pressure on the object ball, but you still get a good cue ball. Is there no value in a jump bang? No?
There is, of course. There's value both ways. This is like medium. The cue ball should continue downward, and maybe the 8 and 5 could knock it in. But the way he's jumped the ball, maybe the best shot is what you're saying, Carl. He's just hitting right past the side. Oh, he hit it perfect. Oof.
Good shot, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got it safe. There's always that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, and he's playing the pro speed there. He's not just like hitting at the ball hoping, right? There was a lot of intent, not only to try and maybe make it, but make Ruiz earn it. Now he's got to worry about the jump if he decides to clip the ball a little bit. Oh, light. Big time light. And that's a decel.
Does the 4 go?
Well, if it goes, he's shooting. It's got to be a small portion of the pocket for him not to shoot. Whew.
Do you shoot this?
Well, he just went and looked again. Well, I'm telling you, if I was in his corner, would you tell him no? If he wanted to shoot at it? Carl?
Well,
Phil?
okay, let's have it.
Well, in rack 10, he overcut
Extension code.
a 4-ball to this pocket, which wasn't as high tariff as this.
That was strange. He asked Desi if he had an extension, and she said, well, you kind of used it. What does that mean?
Yeah, I didn't think he had. Oh, he's elevating.
You got to settle down here, Soufi. Settle down.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's kicked nice, right? Again, in the last match, we saw some good tactical play against a very good tactical player. Didn't hit it poorly, though. That looked like he just flat overcut it. He just barely shaved the 6.
Yeah, that was a good camera angle. That just shows you a lot of the times the table can make you look silly, but then when you have a look back, especially on these slow-mos, that was close.
Yeah, so the good thing mentally, he won't feel as bad again. Maybe a little light.
Nice kick shot, though, here for Soufi.
I think he can see it.
Oh, really?
Maybe not. Okay, he's kicking it. He's going to try and kick and stick using the 6 or coming back behind the 9. He hit it too thick, got behind it too much, and this is going to surrender a really easy starter.
Yeah, that is a bad shot. I feel like he'd have been better trying to come back towards the 9 in that instance.
Well, those shots there, you practice them, right? But you don't practice them from everywhere. So you got to go look really what's the angle to come in at. You know what you want to do, but feeding the brain a little information never hurts. Okay, he can come 2 rails here around the 8, which he likes to do, or 1 rail's real simple. The good thing about the 1 rail, really not too bad of angles, just don't get too thin.
Just a little more ponderous. The situation is sinking in. The freedom of running around the table might be a little compromised from here on in.
Well, there's all kinds of mental things going on for both players, of course, but FSR, of course, the World Pool Championship final. Make any of us, get our blood flowing, but it's really odd, as great as Soufi's played throughout the event, to still, have that feeling of being a big favorite in such a huge moment. The pressure's definitely on him.
Will Spain have their first world 9-ball champion? Well, right now, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is just a little more than halfway.
Nézzük a folytatást. Megint ugrunk egy picit az időben. Sanchez Ruizé a kezdés joga. És Az egyes megy. És folytatás is van. És szépen ugye itt besűrűsödnek egy picit a golyók, ugye itt marad az 5-ös is, meg a 2-es is. Látható ugye 4-4 után most 7-5, úgyhogy hát a 4-4-ről a világ első tudott elmozdulni. A nagy kérdés az az, hogy a 3-asod fönt és a fehér kapcsolata az... Ja nem, bocsánat, a 2-es, ott maradt a 2-es, mert ugye az 5-ös gurult. Elnézést.
Extension code.
Hát így még nehezebb.
Foul. Bow in hand.
Sikerült.
Start the clock, please.
Hát, hogy a feketézés, ugye ráadásul hogy kézből folytathatja Soufi. Szépen megoldja. És szépít.
Mohammad Soufi wins the rack.
Itt volt a probléma, és ugye azt látható, hogy a kék helyett a fekete ezért előbb, és ugye ezt a szabályok nem engedik. Kapta a lehetőséget Soufi. Igen, most az egyenlítésért kezdhet.
Mohammad Soufi to break. Trailing by 6 racks to 7.
Lehet látni a 2-est. Kifejezetten jól sikerült a safety.
extension code.
Mit tud ebből Sanchez Ruiz kihozni? Van egyáltalán bármi lehetőség? Nincs közel, de meg kell adni neki a lendületet, és ez össze is jön, és itt a probléma most egy kicsit. Nem tudom, hogy az ugratás az...
Extension code.
Nézzük a falat. Szép. Így is jó. Nem bölcsen játszik. Szép. Óriási tapsot kap. És egyenlít 7-7. Elképesztő. Kisebb csoda ez a pár nap, amióta ő itt van, és mondom, tehát nagyon nehéz meccsei voltak. Nagyon nehéz meccsei, már az első is nagyon nehéz volt. Nimonent verte 11-10-re, aztán jött még egy 11-10-es meccs Batkovski ellen, aztán a negyed döntő, az viszont meg picit könnyedebb volt, már mennyire egy 11-8-as siker Albin Ocean ellen, az könnyed mérkőzésnek lehet venni. Viszont az elődöntő az már valóban sima volt Hunlin Wu-val szemben 11-6. Így jutott el a döntőig. És itt is abszolút méltó és egyenrangú ellenfel. Ráadásul most a vezetésért kezdhet.
Rock 15. Mohammad Soufi to break. 7 rocks each. Shot.
És elmegy a fehér.
Bow in hand.
Na hát ez az igazi bal szerencse, de is látszik, hogy azért
Start the shot clock, please.
és ami szimpatikusan, emberien veszi tudomásul, hogy mi történik. A taps.
Extension code.
Ismét a spanyolnál lesz az előny, bizony. 8-7. Nehéz, ez látszik az arcán, de hát egy világbajnoki döntő az azért ne legyen könnyű. Picit pihenünk, aztán jövünk vissza a folytatással. És itt egy dry break. És megint ez azt jelenti, hogy kicsit nem úgy alakul, ahogy ezt eltervezte, ott kijön a csücsökről. Meg volt annak az egyesnek a helye, de nem ment el.
Extension code.
Jogos a taps. Hát, sima ügy, 8-8. Dry break-kel megkapta a lehetőséget, ugye nem ment kezdésből golyó Sanchez Ruiznál, és így aztán Soufi változatlanul tartja a lépést. Ezt szépen csinálta, megoldotta, és most az a helyzet van, hogy most ő kezdhet ismételten.
Rack 17, Mohammad Soufi to break, 8 racks each.
látható az egyes.
Extension code.
Daj, de szép! Az igen! Igen, ott még a 4-es, 5-ös, és ugye ott van még a zöld, fekete, de ezt gyönyörűen csinálja. Aj, és ezt meg elrontja. Ó. Szerencséje van, mert begurul oda a 4-es mögé, de ezért kár. Most ezért nagyon nagy kár volt. Ráadásul nem gurul be. Ráadásul nem gurul be. Teljesen, úgyhogy így. Persze, hogy meg tudja oldani. Hopp, hopp. Igen, ez most bosszantó. Ügyes.
Extension code.
Ebből ismét a spanyol kovácsol előnyt. És megint nála a vezetés. De hát még messze a vége, ugye 13 nyertig megyünk. És ezekben a kezdésekben azért az utóbbi alkalmakor ott volt a hibázás lehetősége, tehát megnyugodni igazából, akkor nyugodhat meg, hogyha jól indul majd a következő parti. A következő kezdése Francisco Sanchez Ruiznak. ...2016-ban a Európa-bajnokságot az első komoly győzelme Francisco Sanchez Ruiznak, de volt junior 9-es világbajnok is. Sanchez verte 11-6-ra 2016-ban, az egy jó éve volt, És itt most azért egyrészt ment golyó, másrészt pedig van folytatás is. A 4-esről az 5-öst kell kitalálni.
Extension code.
Ez kényelmesen oda be középre. És meg lehet a 2 rekkes előny. Meg is van, 10-8. Kis elmozdulás a ide-oda való rekknyerésekből. Pici szünet, aztán jövünk vissza a végjátékkal. Na nézzük akkor a végjátékot, hogy miképpen is alakul. Ról. Hoppá, fehér majdnem. De nem. Ráadásul jó a kezdés, mert ment golyó szépen, úgyhogy és szabad a fehér is, és szabad a folytatás is, úgyhogy nincs most különösebb akadály Sanchez Ruiz előtt.
extension code.
Tökéletes. Na, ott most be lehet. Csak azért ésszel kell, mert nyilván ugye még majd el kell menni a 7-esért, de a másik oldalra. Spanyol világbajnok még nem volt. 90 óta íródó 9-es VB történetében.
Sanchez Ruiz wins the rack.
Cezarek is. Sanchez Ruizé. 11-8. Két játékra. És ami ugye még nem volt, hogy ugye vezet 3 rekkel most Soufi előtt, ami azért, főleg is, hogy a végjátékban vagyunk már, akár elég is lehet.
Rack 20. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz to break, leading 11 racks to 8.
Jó kezdés, és szerencséje van, mert ott a fehér és a 2-es koccolt egyet, ami azt jelenti, hogy tudja folytatni. Most nem is rossz helyzetből, mert pontra állítja. Ott ugye van a 6-os 7-es, az okozhat még bonyodalmat, de alapvetően tiszta asztal.
Extension code.
Szép. Hát itt van most ez az érdekes. De megoldja. Visszajön a 7-esre, ez is szép. És akkor itt fiatokon belül 12-8-ra fog módosulni az állás, ami azt jelenti, hogy 1, azaz 1. Rekket kell már csak Sanchez Ruiznak nyerni. Ami nagy előny lehet, ugye, hogy a kezdés az övé lesz majd. Gyönyörű. A világbajnoki cím küszöbén Francesco. Sanchez Ruiz. Nagy kérdés, hogy most ez egyébként valami ilyen tudat alatt itt megindít-e benne. A kezdés érdekes lehet. A kezdésen sok múlik, mert hogyha megy, illetve esik golyó, akkor azt lehet mondani, hogy talán még egy lépéssel közelebb.
Track 21. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz to break on the hill, leading 12-8.
Szokásoknak megfelelően az 1-es az leesik. Na nézzük, hogy a 2-esen mit kezd. Szép. Szép, csak jó visszajön a fehér. Itt most nem is, hogy találja el majd a 3-ast.
Extension code.
véletlenül nézi én alaposan. Megoldja. Szépen csinálja eddig. Hát most jön az első nehézség, hogy elfér-e. El tudja-e úgy lökni, hogy elfér-e. El. Most meg kell oldani, mert kevés az idő. Oh! Puh. És azt választotta, ezt most nem értem. Kilökte onnan a falról. Utolsó reménye lett Soufinak, és meg is van az utolsó reménye. Még gondolom, hogy az előzőt nem értettem, hogy miért ütötte ki, és ha kiütötte, akkor miért nem jobban. Ezt most nem oldja meg. Még nem sikerül a küszöböt átlépni.
Settle down, please. Extension code.
Gyönyörű, gyönyörű. Ej, a mindenség itt neki. Elég régóta ült már, és így odaállni az asztalhoz, egy kicsit kihűlve. Ez nem akármilyen teljesítmény. És itt lehet a szépítés 12-9-re. De bizonyám. Ennyi. Azonnal kihasználja Sanchez Ruiz hibáját.
Trailing 9-12.
De közel volt a 9. Ó, mindenit viszont a 3-as elmegy. Nézzük csak. Nézd a 9-es. És hogyha az a barna, az a 7-es nem kocolja össze, akkor lett volna a 12-10. Tiszta asztal. Na, szép. Gyönyörű, és hogy visszajön. Kapja is a tapsot Soufi. Ez is jó. Onnan a 4-es nem gond, az 5-ös sem lesz gond, és ugye a 6-osért kell lemenni. Pontosabban fölmenni. Hát kinek hogy tetszik. És akkor innen. Szép, 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 megy, gurul, 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 be is gurul, jól van, ez innen jó. Hát ezt látva azért fölmerül az emberben az a kérdés, hogy hol volt ő eddig? Vagy most mi történt, hogy így kijött a lépés? Ez 12-10, akár tetszik, akár nem. Nincs flancolás, odaáll. Kézvédő sincs, tenyére semmilyen védő nincs. És mosolyog. Tehát, hogy ezt szerintem ő se hiszi. Még mindig versenyben. És akkor nyilván azért úgy átfut az ember legyen, hogy mi lehet még. Szoros. Picit többet hibázott. És alapvetően ez okozza a hátrányt, vagy okozta azt a nagyobb hátrányt, ami kialakult 8-8 után. 8-8-ig teljesen együtt mentek. Na! Meg tudja még hosszabbítani a világbajnoki döntőt Mohammad Soufi? Ez most a nagy kérdés, és ennek a kezdésnek ez az egyik legnagyobb kérdése. Ott ment golyó, az biztos, elment az 5-ös, pörög. És hát az lökhető szerintem. Könnyű. De ezt nem ki kell találni.
Extension code.
Nézd.
Reset the shot clock, please.
Na most mi lesz? Most mire hajaz majd Sanchez Ruiz, mert ugye az, hogy ezt ide jobb alulra
Extension code.
falról, az hát nem tudom. Na mindjárt kiderül. Azt a mindenit! Azt a betyár mindenit! Megoldja! Így oldja meg. Ez teljesen jó. Ugye a 3-as, a 4-es, aztán a 6-os, ott a 7-es van érdekes helyen. És most kell úgy a zölddel megoldani a dolgokat, hogy még a 7-es is vigye. Szép. Egy fél lábbal már a küszöbön átlépett, és most már csak a 8-as és a 9-es van hátra. És nehezen tudom elképzelni, hogy ezt elrontja. És Soufi oda szalad, és megadja neki. Megadja neki úgy, hogy a 9-es nem kell, és élete legnagyobb sikerét. A világ első, a 9-es pool biliárd világbajnoka, aki most már az asztalon és az asztal tetején. A US Open tavalyi megnyerése után Sanchez Ruiz már világbajnok is. Nehéz volt, nem volt könnyű, ez a döntő sem volt könnyű, de hát egy döntő ne legyen könnyű. És minden dicséretet Mohammad Soufi is megérdemel, mert kiválóan játszott ő is, és nagyon jól fölépítette ezt a tornát. Ő a világbajnok, Sanchez Ruiz. $60,000 az ő keresete, $30,000 Soufié, aki eddig a legnagyobb keresetét azt az elmúlt esztendőben szedte össze, alig $6,000. Fantasztikus teljesítmény, kiegyenlített teljesítmény, mint mondottam, hiszen ugye haladva előre, ugye Thorsten Hoffmannt verte 11-7-re, aztán Dennis Grabét 11-8-ra, és aztán jött egy könnyebb meccs HUN Lee-val szemben 11-4, majd Mario He az elődöntőben 11-8, úgyhogy Mario He szerintem 5-1-re is vezetett már. Mohammad Soufi tehát VB döntőt játszhatott, élete legnagyobb sikere ez, és ez a $30,000 keres, és megkapja a kis plakettet, és a világbajnok következik. Kedves nézőink, ezekkel a képekkel el is búcsúzunk, késő van már. Sanchez Ruiz a világbajnok, tehát Kielcében a 9-es biliárd világbajnokságon. Kuruc László, Engyel István és Fülöp Márton nevében is köszönöm az egész hetes kitüntetett figyelmüket. Jó pihenést, jó éjszakát, szép álmokat, viszontlátásra!